Good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat on Metro TV. This bulletin is live on DSTV channel 277 and also live on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana, and on Twitter, Metro TV GH. My name is Harriet Adi. Let's take a look at the headlines. Otunfoɔ said to the second has warned that chiefs under his authority who profits from Galamsey would pay dearly for their deeds. Government races against time to stop a pending strike by 4 worker unions after a crunch meeting to discuss terms of payment for their conditions of service ended inconclusively. And in news from elsewhere, at least 28 people have died and dozens remain trapped underground after an explosion in a coal mine in northern Turkey, Bartın province. Welcome now to our first story. The Asantehene Otunfoɔ said to the second has warned that chiefs under his authority who profit from Galamsey would pay dearly for their deeds. He also criticized some chiefs for allowing illegal miners to destroy lands and water bodies through their activities.
Sansa baby out here no ho ne nana we ye Galamsey. So wunya sika ne bi free mu dia. Ade ti ukọ ho no de 21 report am obi. One report man. Wasase out so no ayetu a ensuo no ankrofo nom no. Eseye no wa ye ho de be. Wa waka ho de be. Ampasa aban na chocho krat. De ani wo mu obi ka. Enti wo so ti wo no ansuo no aseye no ankrofo nsuo no. Wo so aye. Mekura wababu mama neda mempo wababu mama neda se nana minsuo nkrofo kura etu se no na me nkrofo nyansuo no wafri bompata wababu mama ne wafri doso wababu mama neda ukura wabeka ho azem ti yes woso a wo hwe ho no a me di kro na shon sa ne azaza yes e kro no ti wonso nhuni momia ye ka aban ye ne na ka de se nye wo munim wo fa soja fo ko ye kone nam ho na ye nwunran abaya kasa enkrofo etu ho na ma sika no a de ye kwachi no a ye so otu Galamsey na ho fi na ogina ho no wono wo sika bi odi tu wo pa adwuma ye no obi afa nso ma ye na gold no ko hwan ho ti Galamsey asem no ye nsuo nyina ese nanano ye nsuo nyina ese amanse ho nanan mo wo ho nsuo no sey eti won so huni so bebo ama na ese na odama baby am wono ye sey ho nsuo sey nkrofo bi di tuo ne yaba ho ne yesu ehunu kwen ye de befa so enti ne ama no bi wo wa ye ka ho bi nanan mo bi so gold sa Galamsey for ye ba mu fie bremuska ebin ye bremuska ni Mina na eka wasi koko nyina ye twegu. Eza akoye Galamsey. Koko ensu na nanan de achichi kuro ye. De ye twegu ayetu amra ye se Galamsey. Ekire bi afi na koko no kura na afi ase. Ghana afi ni enye sika bi ade be. Enti ye kase enkrofo ye Galamsey ayakoto grade da ye bu aban ne ko ho ye ntimi anka yenso ye muse ye ho se na me nso mempa so so santenhe dia ma obeso ai se ha esum jam na mhwe ho mampo me na mhwe ho asokore me na mhwe ho woni asokore hene woni ehene fa hene na de ti wona flags so awutwam nti ukro no hu se ade ye se no
A member of the NDC's communications team, Fred Agbenyo, says government must show commitment to the fight against illegal mining by punishing government officials engaged in the menace. He said the president is only engaged in theoretics and not a Galamsey fight. He spoke in an earlier interview on Inside Pages.
I agree with everybody who is calling on all of us to come on board to help fight this particular menace. But those who are directly in charge must inspire in us some confidence that they are ready to lead us to get to the bottom of the problem. By setting examples, those who are engaged in these things, calling them out, punishing them. You see, I get so sad when they go to the site and go and pick these young boys and young girls, mothers, and go and throw them in cells. When all of us knows very well that these are not, that there are big people behind them who are buying the excavators, who sit in Accra, who sit in Kumasi, who sit in Takoradi. Big people in society. These are the people we should look for. When an excavator comes to town, let's find out who the owner is. Who is the owner? Let us have the courage, regardless of your political affiliation. You can be MPP, you can be NDC, you can be CPP. We are saying that we are not interested in this again. If you move in there, you are arrested, face the law. Once we do that, everybody will be inspired to come on board. But when it looks as though we are protecting some people, it becomes difficult for us to get everybody to come on board. But as I said from the very beginning, my conclusion, let us ban mining at least for the next 2 years. Get back to the drawing board, see how we can correct all the nuances, and then we can come and continue. We all heard the audio, the conversation between the former minister, Professor Frimpong Boateng, and one of their gentlemen from Central Region, where he openly said that the party needs money. And so it's a deliberate party policy. Let's find a way to push our guys to go and do the mining so they can get some money to come and support the party. And so if the president comes back to tell us that, oh, I don't know what is happening, I don't know who is involved, oh, chiefs, you have to help us. Why? What power do the chiefs have? And we are playing around the thing, dancing around the thing, come and speak flowering in English, and then you go and sleep, and we know what is happening.
Now, former MP for Tema East, Titus Glover, speaking on the same program, called on all Ghanaians to support the president in the fight against illegal mining. He, however, called on government to put in place policies that will control the use of excavators imported into the country.
The Constitution itself tells us about how we should deal with our mining. The Mining Act 206, Act 703, which was later amended in 2015, Act 900. Then later, it was also amended in 2019, 995. And the Minerals Commission Act 450. Clearly, the regulation is embedded there, where the Minerals Commission must deal as to how we are handling mining. So, for example, when you give somebody a reconnaissance license to go and do reconnaissance, and he's doing prospecting, then you, the officer or the Mineral Commission, you're not doing your work well. So clearly, I am happy that the minister said they should suspend all issuance of permits, whether reconnaissance or prospecting. They should stop it. Now, those on the ground who are working, the soldiers who are going, they will inspect. Are you a community license holder? You hold it. Are you doing reconnaissance or are you doing prospecting? They should look at all these things and deal with it. Again, excavators. I have said it, and I want to repeat myself. No excavator must be found in the mining area. If it is for construction purposes, good. Before any excavator moves from the office of the contractor, he must get the police permit. Dampare, if you are watching me, please come in here. My brother, the police must be involved to police where this excavator is going. If it's going to do construction, bingo. When you arrive at the site in the district, the police commander there must be notified. And police, the BNI must police and make sure they are doing this. And again, finally, after when these soldiers are doing these operation halts, the land reclamation is there. I'm expecting the minister to come and give us what they're going to do about it. Tree planting. We need to plant the trees again to recapture our forest back. And I'm sure the government led by President Akufo-Addo is determined to fight against Galamsey. All of us should come together and take the politics out to deal with the problem.
Now, a former deputy national organizer of the NDC, Chief Baini, has announced his bid to contest the national organizer position position of the party, he announced his intention at a media engagement here in Accra.
Illegal mining, widely known as galamsey, is gradually bringing dire consequences on livelihoods and across several communities nationwide.
If you try and fish for information on social media, you see videos from certain galamsey areas that people open their taps and instead of clean water, they have bad water. You recently heard of a policeman who died at a galamsey site. We are all aware of the water bodies in this country. In fact, the Ghana Water Company, they've come out to say that we need to be careful. If not, it will affect the water that we're taking. So every Ghanaian is worried.
According to Chief Baini, the incumbent government and its leaders are responsible for the incessant illegal mining activities ongoing nationwide.
You remember NPP woman organizer got her machines bent and she was all over. Today there is Akunta mining and there is another chairman of the NPP behind. What's happening to that chairman? So you can tell clearly that it's not about what they are telling us that they will do, but it's about who is affected. And so the party and the government itself, I see them as a group of people who have interest in what is happening because it's their people causing that harm. And they must call them to order. But they are not doing so. But they come and tell you and I that they are fighting against galamsey. How are you fighting against galamsey?
He also fingered some lapses in Ghana's security system.
It's difficult for me as a person to trust the security. I also was spoken. These were policemen. Police, in police uniform. You were running for your life. Others were running for their lives. And these are supposed to be police officers. But you heard the police capo telling everybody that they are not from their end. It's a serious matter. And so you can't run elections or institution like NDC and you are a serious party, you want to form a government and you want to go into elections and you think that internal security structures must not be activated.
Chief Baini Nixon was speaking at a soiree to announce his bid to contest the NDC's national organizer position. Shadrach Odame Ejare, Metro News, Accra.
An aspiring national organizer, hopeful of the opposition NDC, Sidi Abubakar Musa, is urging delegates of the party to vote massively for him in the party's upcoming National Executive Congress. He spoke with my colleague Annie Efua Ampofo on Good Afternoon Ghana on Friday.
In some constituencies, we even have to organize a simulation exercise on resource coalition to see how long will it take us to be able to bring a resource to the center. All that will be part of what we intend to do. And I will solely, as an organizer, because I will put all the entire structures of the party to work on that election day. Communication officer of a branch should be reporting to the call center at the constituency level on matters of election on the very day of elections. And the organization department made up of all the organizers, right? The youth organizer and the women organizer, they would make sure that they are solely, I have to put the responsibility of the presidential resource on them. That when I am even looking for a single pink sheet and we cannot find it, I know who to zero in on and to be able to get that resource back to us. And everybody, the chairman of the branch on that day will be in charge. Nobody will sleep until we are able to gather all the resources in over 38,000 police stations across the country. And in all the 275. And that is what we're going to do. The second thing is that I want to also establish a solid security system. You see, I always have a problem when as a party we sit down and we feel that we have to rely on police or military on election day. Look, who appoints the IGP? Who appoints the EC boss herself? The president. You see, all of them know that clearly if the government of the day is not in power, they also lose their job. If I give you opportunity to do something, it is within you intrinsically that you want to also do something for me. So that is why I'm telling you that we need to establish our own solid security system to protect our voters and to protect the vote we are going to get on that very day.
Now, government is racing against time to stop a pending strike by 4 worker unions after a crunch meeting to discuss terms of payment for their conditions of service ended inconclusively. According to the president of the UCC chapter of UTAG, Dr. Bwedi Kusi, government has been dragging its feet on the modalities for payment.
Government and other 4 worker unions met on Friday to discuss terms for payment for the conditions of service. After lengthy deliberation this week, the National Labour Commission ruled and directed government, UTAG and other trade teacher unions to meet and agree on modalities of payment for their conditions of service. Government and UTAG are to report back to the NLC after reaching an agreement on the terms of payment for their conditions of service by Monday in line with the NLC order. The teacher unions are demanding payment of fuel allowances for duty bearers, heads of department, maintenance, and car allowances. But speaking to Metro TV after an emergency meeting, University of Cape Coast UTAG President Dr. Bwedi Kusi said government has been dragging its feet on the modalities for payment despite the NLC's directive.
As I speak, we're hoping that the unions will be able to put their heads together. We ended on the note that, well, the government side will still go back and confer. But I mean, of course, what was clear was that there is some inertia, some difficulty on the part of the government side in terms of making concrete statements as to the modalities of payment or otherwise. So the meeting, what I can see is that the meeting ended more or less in a stalemate.
Now, a 3-day strike embarked by the staff of Metro Mass Transit has been called off after the intervention of the National Labour Commission. According to workers, their decision to call off the strike was to satisfy their passengers while negotiations with government continues.
The strike was hinged on the removal of the managing director and 2 deputies for their incompetencies. Another concern of the workers is the lingering salary arrears. In a short meeting with the leadership of the Labour Commission, the leadership of the workers agreed to call off the strike while negotiations with the commission continues. Chairman of the Workers' Association, Peter Owusu, had this to say.
And the commission has advised that since they've invited us to the commission, there will be a need for us to go back to work and come back on Wednesday to meet the commissioners properly, to lay down our problems that we have with what you call management.
Executive Secretary with the National Labour Commission, Ofosua Samoa, assured of a better negotiation and agreement in the coming weeks.
We have listened to the management as well as the union leaders, both local, divisional and national. And we've come to an agreement that they will appear before the commission on Wednesday, where the 7 commissioners will be sitting. But between now, today, as I speak, until Wednesday, they have agreed to call off the strike. The status quo ante will be maintained, and then they will appear on Wednesday at 3 p.m. So in effect, the strike has been called off.
Away from that, the AMA task force has been met with lots of confrontations and agitations after the team wrapped up the Ablekuma South operations and visited the Ododo-Diodio constituency as part of the Operation Clean Your Frontage strict enforcement. Shadrach Odamejari was on the beat and has come through with the following report.
The strict enforcement of the Operation Clean Your Frontage initiative is ending today, Friday, in the Ablekuma South constituency. We have been through Choko, Chemuena, Tea Garden, and most parts of the Ablekuma South constituency. We have actually paid another surprise visit to the Ododo-Diodio constituency, where most households have been tasked to clear their various frontages. Subsequently, we saw our mayor visiting to also supervise the works that has been done so far. Today being the final day, she's back here with us on the grounds, doing the work together. What are the main challenges you have faced from last week till today?
In fact, my main challenges is one, disobedience, people being stubborn and unconcerned. And then the second one was they really understood the message, and yet they decided to do what they are willing to do. And then the third one, I'm thinking that it is important for them to take this heed as their baby and then abide by every instruction that we will tell them.
Just when the team was almost retiring for the day's work, some scuffle ensued between the residents of Fotototuodo and the task force.
The task force should give us some time to relocate, not to make an announcement in the morning and return that very morning to surprise us. Government has not been able to fix our problems in this community. Is this initiative targeted at our businesses?
The coming week will see the continuation of the exercise in the Ayawaso enclave. Shadrach Odame Ejari for Metro News, Accra.
We're going for a quick commercial break. Do stay. Welcome back from that commercial break. It's still Newsbeat. Let's do more stories. Now, the Chief Justice has urged newly elected executives of the Judicial Staff Association of Ghana to put the interests of the people they serve first. According to Chief Justice Justice Anna Yeboah, his office will continue to support the association at all times.
The induction saw 7 new executives taking the oath of secrecy and commitment to the judicial service, as well as manage and steer the affairs of members of the Judicial Staff Association Ghana, as done by the outgone executive led by Alex Nate, the president. Reiterating his commitment to the association at the ceremony, the Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Yeboah, pledged his commitment and support to the Judicial Staff Association and its newly elected executive.
I need not remind you of the value of staying united as an association, for in unity is strength, and forging ahead with a common purpose and objective. I am sure you are aware that you have your work cut out for you. The history of this association imposes a grave responsibility on you to continue to provide leadership that meets the aspirations of your sizable members, which will benefit with the benefit of knowledge, experience, and lessons of the past, are even more demanding and perhaps unforgiving of any failings on your part.
Alex Nate is the outgone president of the association. He touted some gains made by his administration and requested that the new team ensures they live up to the mandate required of them, not forgetting the backlashes it comes with.
In the wake of all these things, I urge you not to be dismayed, but stay focused and have your objectives in mind, and you will succeed.
To the incumbent president, this is the time to work assiduously with relevant stakeholders to strike out pending issues that borders on members' welfare with his open door policy.
Yes, we are the leaders, but we need each and everyone's cooperation to be able to lead well. Every thought, suggestion, and experience are all welcome to make JUSAG more resilient and beneficial to all.
The new executive will hold the fort for now till the next 4 years, as captured in the association's constitution.
Now, Minority Chief Whip Muteka Mubarak has called on leadership of the majority side of the House to remove the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Kwame Ayimando, in chief, for not showing interest in expediting work on the passage of the anti-LGBT+ bill. According to the Asawase lawmaker, the chairman has been compromised, adding the minority will soon mount a campaign against him and his constituency.
And as I said, you are deliberately frustrating this bill.
And he's doing that. And I've been accusing him on the corridors, anywhere we meet, I just telling them, look, you are deliberately doing this. And maybe we have to mount a campaign in your constituency to tell them that you are supporting the LGBTQ. Maybe that will force you to fast track it. Because look, this is a simple process. For a committee, our constitution is very clear. Bills are not supposed to stay in your committee for more than 3 months without coming back to tell us why. He hasn't come back to us. He is frustrating the committee. He will call witnesses in bits. I mean, and I thought he meant well. I was showing him how I dealt with the public health bill. It was one of the biggest bills that we have because you have so many segments. I called all those who wrote memo to the committee to one big hall. I said, oh, so we are going straight. When we get to the chapter that you are interested, you raise your objection, we'll listen to you, and then you go. By the time we were done, we used 3 days and we're done. This man will not adopt that method. He would rather be inviting them in piecemeal, and intermittently he will travel and all that. You could see clearly the chair of the committee is just not interested in finishing the bill. And when you meet him, that when you were chair, I didn't come to tell you how to run your committee, so don't be telling me how to run my committee. But you are abusing the process, and the delay is just too much. And I believe the religious bodies are not happy. They may think that the whole of Parliament is not, maybe the momentum is going down. No, not at all. It's just that we have a process, and our standing orders is very clear. The chair has a lot to do. Unfortunately, it's frustrating the process of the process in his own committee, and I don't know what else we can do apart from maybe changing the chair. But changing the chair is the majority responsibility. You cannot call a motion on the floor to remove the chair unless the majority side wants to change him, and they don't seem to also want to do that. So we'll all have to keep talking and keep mentioning his name, Kwame Animadu. That will maybe force him to expedite action on the bill.
Deputy Trade and Industry Minister Michael Otrebefi says government will continue to support the Ghana Standards Authority to fulfill its mandate of protecting consumers. He was speaking at an event to commemorate World Standards Day in Accra.
World Standards Day is marked every year on October 14th to raise awareness about the importance of using standardized measurements, technologies, and industries. The day, also known as International Standards Day, strives to educate consumers, policymakers, and businesses about the value of standardization. The day is also used to commemorate the achievements of scientists for developing voluntary universal standards that can be used for various measurements. The day, therefore, affords the Ghana Standards Authority an opportunity to reflect on its campaign to promote rapid industrialization growth through development of relevant standards and engaging in conformity assessment activities like inspection, testing and certification. Deputy Trades Minister Michael Otrebefi assured the authority of government's support.
Ghana Standards Authority has been one of the big government businesses in this country, and it is time Ghana Standards Authority take its rightful position in the annals of business development in this country. We as Ghana Standards Authority can make more. We can win ourselves from government subvention totally. A plan to move the Ghana Standards Authority to a different level altogether. As of now, within the shortest possible time, we have been closed with a new act, and that act is going to enable us to be able to generate a lot of revenue to support the Ghana Standards Authority.
Director of Standards Directorate at the Ghana Standards Authority, Joyce Okore, stressed that the authority will continue to work hard to improve standards in the quality of goods.
If the products do not fall within products which have been certified, they would take samples, bring them to the laboratory, and then test them to see whether they meet the requirements. If they don't, that is when we can pronounce that they are not safe. You can have things which come in illegally but are still safe, but it's only after we've tested them that we'll be able to tell that they are not safe. We have a warehouse in Ridge. You realize that a lot of confiscated products have been stored there because they do not meet requirements. So bit by bit we are clawing at these illegal or substandard goods that are on the market, and then we are sanitizing the market here.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Kofi Ban Ejapon, has charged beneficiaries under the community health model to exhibit professionalism in their various centers to augment the efficient delivery of health care services. He spoke at a graduation ceremony for 700 community health worker beneficiaries at Koforidua.
The government under the Youth Employment Agency would employ a total of 6,000 young senior high school graduates across the country under the Community Health Workers Module. The initiative under the Youth Employment Agency is to support the work of already existing health officers in the discharge of efficient health care in the various community health-based planning services centers. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of the beneficiaries, the Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Kofi Ban Ejapon, said the government intends to resolve the unemployment challenge in the country.
We can't continue to do this employment in circuits. We just have to get people permanent jobs, something valuable to do, so that the next 2 years we can bring in new people. That is our plan, and we are doing it for all our models. Not only this, CPA is coming, and we are still in negotiations and agreement. We signed MOU agreement with security agencies. When they finish, they will take a quota of the personnel.
The Eastern Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Winfred Ofosu, said the beneficiaries are going to serve as a link between the CHIPS compounds and the communities by assisting the community health officers in home visiting, outreach programs, and community engagement.
Beneficiaries that have passed out are going to be deployed at the CHIPS zones, CHIPS compounds. And like I said during my speech, they will be resident in the communities. So they are going to serve as a link between the CHIPS compound and then the communities. These numbers are going to augment the existing one so that we can do the work better.
The beneficiaries were grateful for the opportunity.
As I completed JHS, 2018, I don't have any work, but now I have a job to do, so I am so very, very happy.
The Youth Employment Agency intends to employ some 25,000 senior high school graduates to...
Away from that now, Director of Communications and Corporate Affairs at Zoomlion, Emma Oseidia, is calling on all Ghanaians to cultivate regular hand-washing habits to ward off diseases. She made the call when Zoomlion Ghana Limited, through the Zoom Kids Club, donated washing equipment to schools in the La Nkwantanan Municipal Assembly as part of activities to mark this year's Global Hand Washing Day.
Global Hand Washing Day is celebrated on October 15 each year to highlight the importance of hand washing. The celebration this year is under the theme Unite for Universal Hand Hygiene. As part of activities to mark the day, Zoom Kids Club of Zoomlion Ghana Limited donated washing equipment to schools in the La Nkwantanan Municipal Assembly. Director of Communications and Corporate Affairs at Zoomlion Ghana Limited, speaking ahead of the donation, said Ghanaians must adopt the attitude of washing their hands regularly, although COVID-19 cases have reduced in the country.
Zoom Kids Club is donating these items today. For the children, we are donating 150 Veronica buckets, as you can see to my left, 300 pieces of paper towels, 50 waste bins, and then 50 gallons of liquid soap. As the noise around the pandemic has gone down, a lot of people seem not to care, most especially out there in the streets. So in order not to catch any disease to disturb your family and to disturb your economics personally, I will encourage you to wash your hands as many times as necessary.
Municipal Director of Education, King Ejay Apia, on his part, underscored the need to provide more hand-washing equipment to schools in the country.
We are going to advocate for the exercise to be ongoing. During the COVID era, some of the consumables were available, but now the availability of some of these consumables are not there, especially when you come to our schools. The rate at which they are being replenished It's not acid.
He urged parents to support the schools with hand-washing equipment to promote good hygiene among the school children in the municipality.
I will urge the parents to support the school in getting these soap, sanitizers, and then the tissue, so that then we continue to do the hand washing in the schools. They should not hesitate and say that because government says education is free, and so then they are relying solely on government to provide all the things that the school need. They need to also assist the school in some of these things.
This year's national event will take place on Saturday, October 15 at the reconstructed Kijitia Market in Kumasi.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Givers Floor and WC Cleaners.
The month of October usually comes for many to create awareness for breast cancer, but for others, it comes as a reminder of survival, pain and loss. Metro TV has revisited the story of an 18-year-old breast cancer victim, Anita.
May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be.
A few months back, Metro News brought you the story of 18-year-old Anita Duho, who had suffered stage 3 breast cancer. Let's take a look.
Ti pompon bo ami ko so pompon aye tun ti mi se pompon bi na bo mi no fun ti e be pa na mi ho atom ti mi so mi nim se e ya le bia ne ha mi no fun ye mi ya mi ti e dim bi se cancer be mi ho ade ko a ye fa ni cancer mo se e do bi o wa e do ba ku 9 million mi se 9 million no di mami mo woni ti se pani Muye mamia, no funeral back from me one miensa. Me one miensa we are no ma ko twa me no. So first one, the nyeska date no mo de mine, yan ko date ni. Ti nyeska akọ first one ente. Nti obi na boy na nya 9 million. Ni me ko wo ba, nti me ko wo ba ku. Second one ko do ni obi ada kwa.
After this report, several donations started pouring in after a campaign on social media, especially on Twitter. Many Ghanaians did their best to contribute to the survival of Anita Duho's chemotherapy and surgery. Anita started her treatment, but unfortunately for her, continued to have a relapse of the cancer. Even several chemotherapies could not still keep her stable, as the cancer kept reoccurring at places that were undergoing the chemotherapy. Anita finally gave up her ghost. Anita could not stand the pain she was going through after the continuous relapse.
Anita is not the only one facing this challenge. The 2012 Globocon report revealed there are about 1.7 million new cases and 522,000 deaths from breast cancer each year, with about 324,000 of the deaths being recorded in low and middle income countries like Ghana. The situation, according to the Ghana Health Service, has been rising steadily due to increased life expectancy, changing reproductive patterns, and the adoption of Western lifestyles. But do we blame it on limited awareness on the part of public and healthcare providers, or on the lack of access to timely, affordable, and effective diagnosis and treatment? What happened to SDG Goal 3, which sought to achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection, access to quality essential healthcare services, and access to safe, effective, quality and affordable essential medicines and vaccines for all? For Metro News, Shadrach Odami Ejari, Accra.
So rest in peace. Now, a general surgeon at the breast surgery unit at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Josephine Nsaful, has called on women to report any abnormal growth in their breasts, since early detection can help deal with any breast cancer related issues. She made the remarks when the unit was supported with an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis to help with treatment.
Speaking during a donation of 10,000 Ghana cedis and other items by Willie Mays Industries towards the treatment of breast cancer-related diseases, Dr. Josephine Nsaful, a general surgeon at the breast surgery unit at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, mentioned that there's a cure for breast cancer once it is detected in its early stage.
There is a cure for breast cancer once we catch it early. So that's early breast cancer, stage 1 and 2 is curable. And the survival outcomes are very good. 95% at 5 years they are alive and well. And the cure is not herbs, it's not prayer camps, it's not homeopathy, it's not wishing it away, but it involves surgery. Surgery is not always removing the breast. We can actually remove the cancerous lump if it is small. A small lump can be removed and we leave the breast. And even if we have to remove your breast, we can do breast reconstruction. The plastic surgeons will create a nice new breast for you. And it's not only surgery. There are some drugs we need to add on.
Barbara Dejo, the managing director of the Willie Mays Industries, says the support is part of its corporate social responsibility to help in the fight against breast cancer.
Okay, the unit approached us for support, and already as our corporate social responsibility, we have decided to assist the unit by donating 1 pesewa from every bottle purchased by consumers to the unit. So this is a long-term relationship. It's free. You just walk into any medical facility. You don't have to be shy, even if it's going to be a male health assistant going to do the check for you. It is very important.
In 2020, female breast cancer became the most commonly diagnosed cancer type globally, where about 2.2 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer and about 685,000 women died from the disease.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflux Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Give Us Floor and WC Cleaners.
Well, that's it for the breast cancer awareness stories. Let's now do some business news. The Finance Ministry has commenced stakeholder meeting on the 2023 budget. Deputy Finance Minister John Kumah says the current economic challenges puts the nation in a situation which calls for transparency and accountability.
Budget is a major policy tool for determination of national priorities, programs, categorization, resource allocation, and accountability. The budget process therefore makes room for engagement of stakeholders across a broad spectrum of Ghanaians. According to the Deputy Finance Minister, John Kumah, this provides an opportunity to obtain perspectives that can only emanate from a collective national representation.
Well, it's part of the financial transparency towards the budget preparation. We need inputs from various stakeholders to be able to capture the essence of the nation and the expectations of various stakeholders as far as the budget preparation is concerned. So, of course, this is not the first time. I'm not sure this should be the last time. We should continue to engage anytime you are preparing the budget for Parliament so that we can have collective input from different sections of the society. Well, where we are now, there will be no solution without tightening our belt because we are in tight situation. And the only way you stop digging when you are in a hole, the only way you stop going deeper when you are in a hole is to stop digging. And once you're stopping or cutting down your expenditures, obviously we are going to be faced with some difficult situations. So we must all live up to that reality that we are not in normal times. This is the expectation of government is that we should have at least a staff level agreement with IMF before the budget. So we are able to incorporate some of these arrangements into the 2023 budget. So whatever we are doing will factor into the budget the arrangements and negotiations with the fund. We know the dollar is even now stronger than the euro, which didn't used to be the case. So one of the symptoms of COVID recovery is high rate of inflation around the world, which we are also suffering from. Of course, not to talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, which is also affecting energy sector. The cost of fuel has gone up. It's affecting transportation. The ordinary person has to pay more for transport. So all these are global issues that are exogenous but are having damnable consequences on our local economies.
Stakeholder engagement are a critical imperative of a national development agenda.
A research conducted by Modern Energy Cooking Services shows that using electricity for cooking is far cheaper than using charcoal and gas. The study conducted in August 2022 says currently only 1% of Ghanaians use electricity as their primary cooking fuel.
The researchers in their study assess the cost of cooking with electricity vis-a-vis other traditional cooking fuels popular in urban Accra such as charcoal and gas. It was revealed that currently only 1% of Ghanaians use electricity as their primary cooking fuel. More than 87% of Ghanaians, the study found, have access to electricity, yet more than 70% are still using biomass fuel for their cooking. The Director for Renewable Energy at the Ministry of Energy in an interview disclosed that data available indicates that using electricity for cooking is cost-effective and affordable with multiple benefits including health, demand for electricity, and can help Ghana to inject more renewable energy into the system.
Homes that were using kerosene to cook were seen to be affluent, were seen to be worthy, right? But today, if you're using kerosene to cook, you are rather, you are at the lowest or the bottom of the clean cooking ladder, right? So what we need to do is to improve on the technologies for the various fuels. So if it's charcoal, can we have other means that we can use less charcoal, to produce the same amount of food?
Professor Ed Brown, Research Director of Modern Energy Cooking Services, also stressed the usefulness of electricity in cooking.
If you compare the cost of cooking with electricity on these highly efficient devices like air fryers, like electric pressure cookers, like induction stoves, then the price is already cheaper than LPG because of the really big significant increases in recent weeks and months. It's also cheaper than charcoal, quite significant. Use the example of jollof rice, it's a quarter of the cost. So where we need to see the reduction in price is in the reduction of the cost of the devices themselves or the introduction of credit so that people can maybe put it onto their electricity bills, or they can find ways of accessing it and paying for it over a long period of time.
A beneficiary of an electric pressure cooker, Salamatu, acknowledged that using electricity for cooking is economical, environmental friendly, and saves time and money.
And I use pressure cooker for my cooking. It's very economical, safe, it's environmental friendly, it saves time and money.
But do you believe that using electricity to cook is way cheaper than gas and charcoal? You can send your comments on Twitter, Metro TV Ghana's page using the hashtag Newsbeat. We are going for a quick commercial break. We'll be back with sports and entertainment. Now to some sports news. The mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki, has donated assorted items and an undisclosed amount of money to Accra Hearts of Oak to boost the team's morale ahead of the second leg encounter of the Confederations Cup against AS Real Bamako of Mali.
We are going to be competitive. We are going to do our best. We are playing against a team
that beat us 3-0 just a week ago. So we will do our best. We'll concentrate on our training, try to put out our best, be competitive, and then we'll see what happens.
Now you show on cramp. Now we are my Matias since you say, yet town cheaper. Na football or mobile bono. Ma moon share say first one I yenti and there were more bono biara. Na yeta we chinti ye bompire abo won say o mo de won aho da meka me he wale fen batwa na nim say eye den this very one game there nyame denti o mo be den kunim.
Well, that's it for sports. Let's do entertainment news. Royalty collection has been a bane for musicians in Ghana as there have been continuous complaints of not receiving monies due them. Speaking to the issue, Seydou Idrisu, Senior Copyright Administrator at Share Publishing, has attributed the situation to several factors, including lack of proper royalty collection structures. He spoke on Entertainment Review.
Speaking on the show, the Senior Copyright Administrator at Share Publishing emphasized that artists in Ghana do not get the royalties due them due to the lack of a proper royalties collection system.
In terms of publishing, we don't have artists.
Okay.
We don't have producers. We have composers and authors, which fall within the category of songwriters. So if you're a songwriter, you are either an author or a composer. These are the two. So within that area is a little bit complicated because if the monetary system is not there, that's one challenge here in the country. The monetary system is not there. And also the administrative side is a problem, which I don't know how they handle it. And also when it comes to income generation, people that are using the music, they end up using it for free because there's no systems to check how much or how this station or this, if it's radio or if somebody want to use your song for a movie, documentary, advert, and all those things. They're supposed to license the song from the society or from the record label or through the publisher. But because these structures are not there, so people end up using the music and you don't make any money out of it.
He therefore implored musicians to make use of the split sheet to make royalty collection easier in order to prevent the usual cases of disagreements between artists over monies.
I'm seeing this to be like a startup point. Although we've been in the country several times, we've been educating people, but they're not really getting it. But for now, I can just say that we should take, precaution on how we finish our works in terms of this split sheet thing that we just spoke about. If a song is recorded, mixed, mastered without a split sheet, automatically the song is going to be on undocumented works. Meaning the song will make money and nobody get paid in terms of the composition.
That's it for entertainment news. Let's now take a look at the stories making waves internationally.
At least 28 people have died and dozens remain trapped underground after an explosion in a coal mine in northern Turkey's Batman province. Around 110 people were in the mine at the time of the